The first member of my family to go to England was my grandfather. He was born in February 17th, 1921, in Accettura. He stayed in Accettura until he went into the Navy in 1940 because of the war. He was also taken prisoner by the Germans. They didn't treat him very well because of the Italians that came out of the war. When the war finished, he came home in 1945 and married my grandmother in 1947. After my uncle and mother were born, my grandfather went to Nottingham in 1952, thanks to a cousin of his, because he was a prisoner of war in England, and they were after people who could work in a foundry. So they asked him if he had any relations he could bring over. And my father and several other Italians went. My grandfather and several other Italians went. So he was there for 2 years before my mother and uncle went, and not grandmother. He decided to go because where he lived in Accettura, it was a small village and there was not a lot of work. So when his cousin, my grandfather, found a lot of difficulties. For a while the language was very difficult to understand, and before calling his family he had to buy a house, so he didn't see them for 2 years. My grandfather found, after he bought a house, he wrote to his wife and a letter, and they said that they could go over because they had to have a permit in those days to go to Nottingham. In 1954, when my mum was 6 and my uncle was 4.5. After so many years, my mother went to school in England and married and had 4 children. My brother Giovanni, myself, my sister Donata, and the last one, Cesare. I arrived in Accettura on the 8th of August 1985 when I was 15 years old. I didn't make this decision because I was small, so it was a decision made by my mum because it had always been a dream to return to her native country. Now that I'm older and I've got 2 children, I can say that I miss England very much and would like to go back today. I miss the atmosphere, the way of life, and most of all I miss my brothers. Today I've got 2 brothers in Nottingham, and we text nearly every day and videos and chat quite often on WhatsApp. The Accetturis are the biggest community in Nottingham today. There was about 1,000 Accetturis, but a lot of them moved back to Italy, so now there are about 700 that still live there. The first generation still speak Italian, but the second and third understand it more than they speak it. Once a year, many Accetturis come for La Festa del Maggio in Nottingham. They still have their own traditions and culture. They still make their own sausage and homemade wine, like they did in Accettura many years ago. The Accetturis are